Hello. You ever wondered what the weirdest place to build your base is in Grounded? How about on top of the hedge fence thing? Very corner of the map. This is one of a few separate places I've been building the most random bases I could think of. I've just spent a couple hours putting them around the place. I've built those ramps up across basically this entire wall and along the brick wall as well. And I'll just be showing off some of the weirdest places I've managed to build. Okay, these teleporters are a bit poorly placed. There's this one that's on the hedge itself, right on top. Strange thing you can do is, I'm going to do it with handy nat because I don't want to get stuck. These big holes in the hedge, you can just fly around and actually, because this whole hedge top is solid, you can just drop down into these and there's random locations there. There's also a few spots that, if I remember correctly, it's all the way over here. You can get underneath the entire hedge, which is a really unique spot. I haven't built anything here yet, but if you go through here, that's non-solid. You can just get inside the hedge here. You get some weird lighting effects, glitches. Got a couple leaves poking through randomly. You're not able to build on any of this, but you are able to build on these. Which means, give me 1 second. I'm back. Here we are at the Hedge Broodmother fight. And you can build underneath the fight itself. And if you use the telepody, if you select the telepody wall as the character, and then switch over to the handy nat, you have the you're able to place the telepody wall in handy nat form, so you're able to get inside here. And if you really want to build a base, although the Hedge Broodmother Scream will damage everything, alternate way is you can just handy nat your way through any of these little tunnels from inside the fight itself. You can just exit through the top here. Here we go. And you can build a base in here if you really, really wanted to. I don't know why you would, but it's just interesting to know that you can. Also, some really interesting mesh, like the mesh doesn't line up with the polygons properly sometimes. So it's a really cool looking place, especially when the fog kicks in at certain angles. Anyway, the next base is, I don't remember where any of these go. I've built so many of these, it's kind of like a lottery of where you end up. Here we are in the middle here. There's that one field station that's an absolute nightmare to get to. All the way in the corner of the map. Little Easter egg here if you build up here. No idea what it is. I think it's a meme of some sort. If you know what it is, let me know, because I think it was, I think there's one inside the shed as well. No. There we go. Okay, where else? This is the actual field station. Let's see if we can get out here. There we go. Here we have all the way on the other side of this brick wall with the shed here. Oh, whoops. Oh dear. Looks like I'm loading a save. I'll see you in a bit. I'm back again. Save loaded. I do have another platform over there, however, I ran out of room in my main base for all the telepodies. So there is a telepody over there on its own channel. I think it's like 16 or 17. But I don't have it hooked up to anything at the moment. So it's just kind of sitting there. This is the only one so far that I've built using the handy nat holding the telepody thing you select the teleporty, hand in app mode, and you can place it down. Then I just teleported over and built this. Everything else I got to with my actual character by either parkouring or just building up. Didn't take anywhere near as long as you would think. Where to next? Aha! Haha! This one I'm proud of. This is the beehive at the top of the oak tree. This is the only solid part of the entire oak tree from, like, a third of the way up it stops being solid. And then this is the only solid bit from that point onwards. So, you have to staircase your way all the way up. You can see a lot of resources went into this staircase. Not anywhere near as hard as I would have thought, because I thought it was a lot higher. Maybe an hour or two of collecting resources and then just building wasn't too bad. The way I build all of these is I have a separate teleporty over by, you can't really see it through the leaves, but the picnic table. Underneath it and to one side, there's a whole heap of weed stems. Sorry, husky weeds, which give you weed stems, and I just have that set to channel 99 and then teleport over there whenever I need weed stems, and it's really convenient. So I'll see if I can... I fudged that. You can get inside the tree where it's the final bit of solidness, corporeal form. There's a little nook there that you can build something in. So my start point for this was climb up this leaf, and then I built this staircase ages ago for the milk molar up here that spawns in New Game Plus sometimes. On these mushrooms here. That jump is really annoying. I need to upgrade this at some point. There we go. And now is the long, long trek all the way to the top. Goes around the tree, spirals around. Is this where it's no longer? There we go. So this is the last part that is solid. And okay, no, you can't build on here. Okay, good to know. So, yeah, you'd have to build a staircase all the way up here to build a platform up here. But this would be a pretty cool spot for a base, because you can see everything. It's right... Actually, not that close to the middle of the map. Why is it still scanning for weed stems? I don't know how to turn that off. It's pretty close to the middle of the map, so if you're still using zip lines, it's really high up, so you can set up zip lines everywhere really easily. Although, New Game Plus teleporties just make them completely obsolete. And... oh, gosh, nearly fell. The rest of the way up is through the tree. I don't really care about keeping it inside. I've seen someone build a base all the way at the top, except they kept every single base piece that they built until the actual base, like the entire staircase, is contained within the tree, which would have been an absolute nightmare, I assume, to build, but it would have been really cool looking. You cannot build on this. It's not supported. But if you're up here, you can technically glitch stuff inside without too much difficulty. Like that. And build something in or around this. It wouldn't be too difficult. Where else do I have? Is this one anything? Nope, that's the one I just went to. I think I went there. Channel 7. Ah, yes, this is the gazebo. In a previous video, I was building a foundation of a base in here. We've got... I don't know why I built this, but it looks cool. It's like a little tent. And we've got all the way through this entire thing, I put floors. So if I ever need to furnish it, I will, but for the moment it's just too big and I don't really want to spend that much time furnishing it all. But we can exit through here, reach the top, and I got a bridge over here to a separate base, which is the treehouse. This one turned out really well. We've got a whole heap of different just platforms and stuff on completely different grids, which was logistically annoying but not really challenging. I haven't counted them. I don't actually remember how many I built. I just spent an hour or two building until I couldn't find another branch to build on, because not all of these branches have base compatibility. You can see that they're not supported, but something like over here, this one is able to support a base. I could build another one here actually if I really wanted to. So I really like the way this base turned out. It's not really a weird spot to build a base, it's just a good spot in my opinion. It's decently in the middle of the upper yard, access to a lot of things. There are a few other places I need to show, but I don't have teleporting set up yet, so I'll see you when I get there, because they're on the opposite side of the map. Ah, the neighborhood. The picturesque view of... You're not supposed to be looking here. The aesthetic of... out of bounds. I don't know what to describe it as. So here we have the other corner of the map. The exact opposite corner of the hedge thing I built here. It's interesting that they have that border there, even though that's technically not inside the yard. If you really wanted to, I'm pretty sure you could build a base down on this platform. That does technically count as buildable ground, which is interesting. And we have the series of crow feather roofs as ramps along this entire fence. Don't ask why I use crow feathers. I had a lot of them, and they were convenient. If you have a old grounded world and you need to get around a lot, I would actually suggest you do this, because it is very useful to get a long distance very quickly. Set up teleporters on either just in the corners, or if you want, you can add little outposts like this halfway through. I don't know why, but this one's particularly massive. Also, don't use crow feather roofs, because they do this. They throw you, which could kick you off the fence. And if you fall, you die, and you can't get your stuff back, so you have to basically either resort to the game repair for recover backpacks, or loading a save. So be very careful when you're on the edge of the fence. Especially in certain places it's a lot worse, and I'll show you what I mean in a second when I get to the end. But there's a lot of... Oh my... That's embarrassing. See you in a bit. I don't want to say how many attempts that it took me to get here. I had to reload 3 times. Apparently I just suck at movement. I fell off the edge of the fence so many times. It was so annoying. So this is the other corner with the trash heap. There is a interesting... I think it's... Nope, yep. So you're not able to fly your handy gnat over more than almost any distance over here. There is, however, a bunch of terrain down there that looks like proper terrain, except it's absolutely freaking out. However, there is a kill box halfway down if you fall down. So you can't get down there because you can't fly a handy gnat, and you can't jump down there. You will die. If you go all the way over here, there is the house, which is actually, I think, solid. This wall here is solid, if I remember correctly, but you can't build off of it. So it's a bit... I'm pretty sure it's solid. Yep, this wall here is solid. And this stuff is also solid. Okay, so that's solid. None of this is solid. That wall is, but like this shelf and stuff, the pot isn't solid. This chair is solid, but you can't build off of it. Invalid surface. You could probably build a bridge all the way over if you wanted to have something that looked like it was on this shelf. You could do it. It'd just be annoying. And now for the, I believe, final weird base location that I've built is inside the gutter pipe, which I actually really enjoy this location. This is a cool spot to build. Didn't know those were all signs nearby. This is a relatively easy location to actually build into, because there's a lot of grass around. As you can see, there's still some carnage left over. You can just build a staircase all the way up. It took about 205 buildings. If you have, there's a setting that's like, it requires proper stability in order to build properly. I don't like that, because I like the grounded jank building system that lets you get anywhere. So this is just a very long staircase all the way up. And there's a few interesting things about this pipe that I wouldn't have thought. Once I get a bit higher, give me a minute. There's some jank spots like this that I had to wall in case the slope, I like banked off the slope and flung myself into the wall. So it doesn't actually go all the way to the top of the actual gutter. There's a gap in the middle that you can't get through. And I'll show what it looks like up the top in a minute once I get to the top. As in like the top of the gutter and the top of this gutter pipe. So this didn't even take that long. It took maybe an hour or two. Pretty easy to do. Relatively. And at the top here, as you can see, there is just a big black surface that is solid. You can't fly your handy gnat through it, nothing like that. Not a valid surface either. Neither is this, technically. You just have to start all the way at the bottom. Interestingly enough, don't know how well you can hear the game audio. I hope it's picking up properly. It is, from what I can tell, the plastic material. If you hit another piece of plastic, it will make a similar sound or the same sound, I'm pretty sure. Also, it's technically made of a bunch of different parts, so you will just stop here on this tiny little seam you can technically stand on. I thought it was cool. Really random, but pretty cool. You'd probably die if you didn't expect it and didn't have full immunity and you just dropped from the top. So, the top of the actual gutter, all the way up here, so you can see the size of the pipe from the outside. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was, damn. So it stops here. When it gets low res, it stops there. It's still solid, but it's completely devoid on the inside. The actual collision ends here, and you can see it's got no inside. And up here is actually very interesting, because you can't see the gutter from any angle but this. And it ends here. But these are... not those. All of these are solid leaves. And for some reason, this is where all the fireflies go during the day. I believe this was shown in an Arcade video, briefly. I don't know why, but this is just... the devs decided this was where the firefly hangar was going to be. And then when the sun sets, or it gets to a certain time, I don't actually know what time it is, they all just fly away. So, next thing I'm going to do, if I want to build a really, really extravagant base, I'll probably build like a spiral staircase all the way up the gutter, all the way up this pipe, and then get up here, which is about the same height as the bee's nest. So it shouldn't be too hard, because the bee's nest wasn't actually too bad to get to. And then maybe build all the way up this roof for fun. See if any of the objects or anything have collision. Might be interesting. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. They just live. So, infinite firefly farm. English. Firefly farm. Why is that so hard to say? Anyway, so, the inside of this pipe, sorry, the outside of this pipe is still solid until up here. I want to see, that's where it actually ends there. So, oh, it ends even higher than I thought it did. So, this is the top. That's a lot taller than I thought it was, damn. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Only, I think, 4% of our viewers are actually subscribed. So, make sure you subscribe, and I'll be doing more videos on ridiculously extravagant base building in the future. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya. OBS, please.